All right, so seen a few more people come on here. So as we get going, this is definitely A to Z on when people walk through the door, what we promise from the initial to how we retain, how we coach our clients, the purpose of some of our client binder systems, and then actually when people do put in that termination, in our goal in our systems to save at least 50% of those individuals who do come to that point. So it's going to be an A to Z coverage of retaining our people throughout a termination process. So any questions out of the gates before we get going on? So here I am in my office, so welcome everybody. I'm about to share the screen in a second, and then we'll go from there. All right, now technical issues are getting me right here. I want to share my screen. Can somebody type if they're able to see my screen? People are able to see the screen? All right, it starts right here. So again, feel free to chat in the chat or to answer questions along the way, and that'll help me stop or prevent from going too far. When we stack during our consultations, one of the main things that we go over is, if you look right here, is the monthly goal and evaluation and progress check with the fitness director. So when you first start, you are going to be the fitness director, you are going to be the trainer, and you are going to be the retention manager, and all wrapped up in one. As we grow, we're going to have 3, 4, 5 people, and this is kind of the complete system to whether it's just the fitness director and you're the trainer to having multiple trainers and being able to help them all along. So it all starts when we're selling somebody and getting them signed up. We say, we're going to help you with the monthly goal evaluation. We can switch programs at any time. And how we say that we did them is we do check in, we do care. We are a results-oriented gym, and that's our program. We even have the lifetime maintenance and follow-up program even when we're done. So in all reality, when they're done, we are going to be calling them every 1 to 2 months to do healthy check-ins, and we'll get more into that later. So these are 2 major benefits of our program. So even if you're the fitness director, this is going to have more power once you're the have multiple trainers, because then they know that they get to meet with the person that helped them get going, the main person, and you can usually get a little more information out of them right there. So any questions on that so far? So this is what we sell in the onset. If you look the next time things, what we do right here is now we have our client tracking sheets. So essentially somebody has started our program, and this is how we track along the way. We see that they've started on blank date. So right here, this is a very important process, whether they are sessions or EFT. And it'll get to the retention system that I mentioned here in a second right there. So their goal is weight loss, right? So essentially, the date they started, sessions are EFT. So if it's 12 sessions, I'm going to go 12, then 11, 10. Why that's important is because if we get down to 4, which I'll get into our retention system, that means something's got to start happening, right? That means we're going to re-sign them. And then a later topic in what you'll get in your training is lifestyle retention. It's in the MedFit videos, and that's how we're really trying to have the trainers retain clients. So now let's just say, for all sakes, Mrs. Jones started at 180 pounds, and she wanted to lose weight. And she started on 12/1 at 180. And then you as the trainer has each one of these, the clients, we say 178, then right back to 180, even 181, 81. Right here is where the comments are happening. Mrs. Jones, have you gone on the shopping tour? No. Recommended phase 1. Mrs. Jones, you're losing weight. What are you doing? Doing great. Showed up for the working. Your goal is to get them to take self-responsibility of why or why not that they're not losing weight. So that's what we're really focusing to do. Mrs. Jones, do you know what happened? I don't know what happened. I'm eating right. I'm exercising. Well, recommend, hormone visit. Or maybe she's just not eating well or drinking. These are our notes that let us know that's a struggling client. Now, Mrs. Jones has gone 2 weeks in a row with her number one goal. Now even the 4th week is up weight loss. So if somebody's paying $400 a month, they're not committed here. As a fitness director, I would want to see this highlighted right here so I can call Mrs. Jones and be proactive. The whole goal with this whole termination process is to be proactive and not reactive. So meaning if we are calling Mrs. Jones all along the way because we're accountable to their goals, we hope they end up saying, I don't know why. We don't want to say, well, my trainer isn't doing this, or I'm not working hard, or whatever that may be. So this binder is very critical for our fitness director to look through each one of our trainer binders and know that they're calling 10 people. If this is highlighted yellow, this is what we identify. This is what we call a struggling client. So I'll show the documents here. This is in your binder. All these forms are what it is. This is in the systems. This is number 27. All these forms are nothing new that you haven't seen or gone through. This is what the client or the trainer is supposed to do at the point of contact to really determine what is going on with the client. So trainer highlights lack of weight loss or progress towards their goal. Trainer is to coach the client. Have you been journaling? Have you been exercising? Kind of like the plateau training video you'd watch right there. Why? Because we must provide solutions for that client. So please read through this. This isn't the purpose of this agreement today, but this is definitely, if they're struggling, our opportunity to integrate them into the clinic for hormones, for blood labs, for additional support, to health coaching, to nutrition, to dietitian, whatever that may be, and you're recommending how they can get results. So it's twofold, what we can help them accomplish and what our medical group's going to help them accomplish. But we have to continue to provide solutions along the way. Otherwise, they're going to say, how are you any different? So that's a test. You give a different treatment plan, give different solutions, help them get self-responsible right there. This is what that struggling client is. So this links to the client tracking sheet. If struggling, this would be highlighted. This is what tells of our struggling clients. Okay, so that's where we're at in terms of that regards. So we've gone over where we're first talking about it. We're talking about how we document in the client tracking sheet for not only the fitness director, you are the trainer as well at the same time. And that's what we're doing proactively to do these calls right here. And now here's what happens with our pre-calls. So essentially, our pre-calls are done in a different format. So we call these quality control calls. It's not to call them and say, Mrs. Jones, you've been doing bad. That's not what we want to do. So the only bad call is a call not made. So if we've promised these people we will struggle, we will follow up, we're results oriented, and we don't hold accountable to results, we don't have those conversations, we don't recommend solutions, we don't integrate to the clinic, and we don't make these calls, then it's there. Now, not all trainers are great at making these calls, but the fitness directors have to get good at this. This is not a sales call. This is to gather information. And the first things that I always like to do is I'm trying to, again, I'm being proactive, not reactive. I'm trying to see, tell me more. So the first thing I always do is I try to put something positive in place. So the first question is, hey, Mrs. Jones, this is JR. I'm just doing my follow-up calls. As I mentioned, we will check in from time to time. And I just really want to see what you're enjoying about the program and what you're liking. Again, a little more awkward if you're already training this client. These are conversations you'd have in your training sessions. But if you're not training this client and you're being the fitness director and you're overseeing it, this is an excellent opportunity to say, what are you liking or enjoying? You know Mrs. Jones isn't losing any weight 1 month into the program when we've probably told her she could probably lose 8 to 10. So you're saying, what do you enjoy? That's why you're trying to invoke a positive reaction. Well, I really like what you're doing. All right, Mrs. Jones, that's great. Always try to get that first positive out of everything. And that same thing will come when it's a termination call that we'll get to in just a second, is we certainly say, what are you liking about the program? The second reason right there is, Mrs. Jones, I know you signed up for some weight loss. Can I ask, what's going on in terms of your program? How can I help you? So it's, again, a lending help. You're not placing blame, saying, how can I help you? Have you been on the shopping tour? Have your trainer offered you a few different solutions? Do you know what's going on? So you're looking for them to either take self-responsibility or not. If they say, yeah, I know what's going on, and hey, I just had a lot of weddings. All right, I'm sure your trainer has given you a couple recommendations. Do you feel any of those are possible? Yes, I'm just going to stop the drinking for the next month. Well, very good. So that's great. There's accountability. That's what they wanted. That's what they're paying you for. There's no problems right there. If they don't know why, that's where you really have to know how to get results a little bit better than everybody else in terms of coming up with, well, Mrs. Jones, have you taken a metabolic test? Are you tired? Are you fatigued? And you have these different answers. Can I see your journal? Whatever it may be, and being able to get a difference. When you're here for training, we'll be able to dive in much deeper so you can tell more. But what we find is the easy reason is, hey, I haven't journaled, or I haven't there. They've taken there. But there's all these other things that eventually, if they terminate, now listen to this, if they terminate, they're going to tell you some of the main objections that you see when somebody objects to signing up. So they're going to tell you, well, I just don't have time, too much pressure from the family, or I don't have money to continue. Well, they already paid for their first month. It hasn't having to do with their right there. Or non-committal, or procrastination, or showing up, or they're getting spouse pressure of either coming to work out or cooking 2 different meals. And this is, again, where you have to provide solutions in terms of if it's that spouse pressure. Well, have you came to our Breaking Barriers class? Have you cooking 2 recipes? Have you tried the no-cook meal if you're lacking at time? So these are things right there, and sometimes they just want to listen and vent and everything right there. So it's, again, when you can get to the bottom layers and listen and then provide them exactly what you're looking for, this is what helps keep people going, because what's going to happen is, again, it's the family, the spouse, the job, the plateau, and injury. All these things are solutions that you have to have some sort of an example or ability to help them get past. So that's struggling client process. So that ties into the last part right here. So when we get to this form, this is the client termination form. So this is what you're going to see that people are going to email of why they're leaving the program. If you followed your system the right way, if they're on EFT, they have to give you a 30-day cancellation notice. So if they put in there, I'm looking to be done, then as you know, and they know, that they're going to get one last draft. So people want to come and cancel. They don't want to draft that last one time. You highlighted it in the agreement. That's a major part of our program right there. So account termination, their first payment was blank. Their last payment will be right here. It'd probably be May 15th or May 1st. Even if they're putting in their cancellation, they're going to draft one more time. If they put in a freeze, we will make sure they can freeze to 90 days. A lot of people know that they're going to have to draft one time, try to put in their freeze, and then they'll call you 1 month later and say, Kat, I'll try to cancel there. And this is why we say it's going to automatically redraft unless you give them another day. Let's say they're going to be out of town for 6 months. That's fine if you know that they're going to be coming back and they're gone for the winter and they'll be starting back on June 1st, whatever is there. But this is where it's very important that if you're following your EFT, because, and this is where it's important, EFT, you will always get an opportunity to save, because then they're going to have to meet with you in order to cancel. When we go back to the client tracking sheet, let's just say that this is, and we have them circle here, let's just say this is sessions versus EFT. If this is EFT, I know they're going to automatically renew for another 8 sessions in May and another in June. If this is sessions and we're down to 3 sessions and your trainer hasn't highlighted this for you, this person could walk out the door without you getting a final call in. And that's why we like EFT-based agreements. And that's why we hold the trainers accountable to making sure they market this right here, because the last thing we want these people doing is walking out. But I can tell you now, when we go back to this sheet here, is they're gonna tell you, and this is again back to that aquifer, is what programs were you doing, what was the reason. Your reasons are always going to be, again, time, money, injury, things like that. All of them are crazy, because time, who doesn't have time to exercise? It's a need. Money, they had it to invest in the first place, so why couldn't you, again, get them from a 3 times a week program down to 1? Maybe that trainer wasn't good at downselling or anything like this. And that's why we save over half of our terminations, is because we're able to get them into a different program right there. So money, yes, 300 program, but yes, we have up to a $50 a month program. So it's easy to retain them if that's their main objection, and we're good at getting it right there. Again, time, money, spousal. Again, what did you enjoy about the program? Well, I love the workouts. I love the accountability, everything that you may have, administrative notes, do right there. But what I want to tell you that's not in here is, whether it's the trainer, whoever we know that's leaving, this is going to affect their retention. What we do know is people leave for 3 reasons. So it's a smoke screen when they say time, cost, and money or anything right there. They leave for 3 reasons. And your job as a fitness director, when you get on this phone call or a meeting in person, is to flush out exactly what happened. So what do I mean by that? The 3 reasons people leave. Number 1 is they didn't get results. So if they put termination, I enjoyed the program, great team, great users, and you go back to their struggling client thing, and they're 2 months in here, or even 4 months. Let's say they made it 4 months right there, and their weight's 176. Well, no way in hell is somebody going to pay $1,200 to lose 4 pounds. That's not what they're doing. Unless you're delivering on all levels. If they want to lose weight, they're either not committed, we haven't got them there, we haven't gotten the results. So they may say that they like your trainer because they don't want to avoid they don't want to have conflict, they don't want to make a mistake, they just don't see worth paying that anymore. So plain and simple is, you have to know, did they get results? Most people will not be leaving if they get results. So no, it's either results. Okay, number 2, customer service. That their trainer may be late, the front desk didn't say hi, we messed up their billing, we didn't promise the value we had in our value offer, we didn't follow up, we didn't do the calls, we didn't do the interviews, the boot camps, we didn't get them access to the university, the facility's dirty, not clean, whatever it means. People will not pay high dollar. We try to charge high dollar. People will not pay high dollar if you don't make this a community. This whole program is about making a community of people that are really dedicated to what we're trying to do. So it's really important that we create a customer service driven program that is community centered. The 3rd reason people leave is loss of value. Loss of value, or they wasn't. So let's say they're paying $400 a month and they don't think they're getting $1,000 worth of value out of their trainer, they're not going to do it. Let's say they hired me for accountability and results, and somebody hold them there, and I'm not holding them accountable to it or anything like that. I may be providing great workouts, but hey, I'm not holding them accountable to journal. I'm not giving them solutions to get past their results. There's no value. They wanted a trainer. Let's say they wanted you to push them harder than they can push on their own, and you're giving easy workouts and you're communicating too much. They do not like to tell you this, and I'll get into how we can forecast this in the front end to get past this. Value, here's another thing. I was training a client, lost 99 pounds with him and couldn't get him over the hump of 100 right there, but he became a good friend of mine. So we're talking about the Vikings. What are we going to do this weekend? I said, listen, Mike, you know, I love you. We're good buddies, but I cannot train you no more. I'm going to have to give you to Rich because we've reached a point where you've lost, and we've lost the value in our personal training relationship. So that's what it comes down to. They signed up for a specific reason, and you must keep that at the front of mind awareness. So again, what you're calling, when you call and start this, you're really trying to highlight on what did you enjoy first. Hey, I'm glad you like that. Hey, I'm glad you found a community here, because you're trying to tell them, well, what are you going to do better? They may tell you one thing, or they're, well, I would have liked to this. Well, how do you try to save it then? This is, again, your opportunity to try to save it, plain and simple. Now, on the administrative side of things, this is all important, right? Because A, let's just say they put in this cancellation at the phone, you phone call, you've tried the quality meeting right here. Okay, let's say they did term, right? And they're going to end in 30 days. They're going to draft one more time. You need this to check this off. Why? So you can go in your constant contact or FitPro and you enter past client once they're done and their final adjustment has came up. Why? So your autoresponders start communicating them one email at a time every month and following up right there. Keep the client. Again, this will go in there. And what I didn't have right there, because Chris didn't send to me, we used to have this, but now I have him very specifically track the metrics on what percentage he saves each month. So if 10 cancellations come in, you know, if we did not at least save 5 of them, we did something wrong. We didn't do that. We have months where we save 9 out of 10. So if we didn't do this process, we'd be letting 9 out of 10 people walk out, and that's just not okay, because we can save over half of these people by either downgrading them, putting with the new trainer, making sure they're getting the results or the value that they want. So keep client active. Again, here's we put them in Infusionsoft instead of sending them that email. We need to make sure that we're taking them off our billing checks and balances sheet. We need to stop the payment in Mindbody. Then the client files away in the unactive ones. They either stay in the client binder, so the trainer calls them. That's where the HR means file away. The file are the trainers, so it stays in their binder, so the trainer's calling up and following up with their client once a month. So this is why this is so important that we go through all these steps. So this isn't just made up systems or trying to do anything. The last thing I want to do is add any work to anybody that doesn't have value. We're selling up value up front. We are using this form for multiple reasons. We are highlighting what struggling clients are so they get clients so we can retain them. We get them results. We integrate them to the medical side. We make sure we're not losing people that are walking out the door that are on sessions, on EFT. We go through things. And now I want to go to the retention policy sheet on what do we do when we have things going in that direction. So here's the system to approach. So when that trainer binder sees 4 sessions left on a paid in full package, right there, that conversation, that trainer has to begin by talking about the understandings of the permanent lifestyle. This is on 10, and this is in the systems thing, so I'm not going to read over all these right there. This is just so you know that the trainer's done their job. Either they're staying or they're going, because if not, they, on that 1 session left, they get put on the fitness director's book so we can have that proper meeting right there. We give them good workouts. We ask them. We're going to really go in on your training while you're here, or you need to watch the video on lifestyle retention on how we're talking about, do you know what you're doing? Did we properly transition the maintenance mode? So it's the 3-step system on introduction to transition to maintenance. This is what these conversations are, because not all trainers like talking money and re-signs, but they need to get very comfortable at that psychology of transition and maintenance of making habit change. Very important. But here's some things that the trainers can do to not lose clients that I do want to discuss right there. This is how we help match on the trainers that are doing the best job, that can retain and everything right there. But it comes down to, again, this, and this goes hand in hand with the right hand side right here of what we're doing. When we weigh in, we have to ask what can be done better. Always refer to their goal and why they came, knowing their why and everything. So give them what they're looking for and hold them accountable to your goals. If you are in this business and you're not accountable at getting results, it's because you're not comfortable yet. But the patients seek that, they want that, and if you don't give them that, you're never going to become a master trainer of getting people results if you don't know how to hold them to whatever goal or help them achieve or get and reach their goals. So you're just a in the beginning stages if you're not able to get them what they need. And that's where we have to help coach you to get to be able to be a results-based trainer. State them in specifics to their goal. So for instance, if they hang up, and what I do is ask simply 2 different questions. Mrs. Jones, can I see your journal? Did you eat just, let's say their goal is weight loss again, did you eat just how you're supposed to? If they say yes, you need to be able to look in there and see if it is the right way. If they say no, okay, well, I ate out 7 times. Mrs. Jones, can we have 1 meal of choice this week and see where that goes? Again, you're given a solution. Or Mrs. Jones, did you get your 6 workouts? And I'll go over this in plateau training, more specific on a later date, or watch the video again, but it's really how you go about holding them accountable or giving them a solution to accomplish the next week. You have to care about their success. You're passionate about their goals, not just trainers. We're nutrition pros, the counselor. No person can have quite the impact that we can. So here's a critical tool. Again, we mentioned that the trainer doesn't always like to ask, or the client doesn't always like to create riffs and say, hey, will you train me harder? I wish you'd have more nutrition accountability with me. They won't do that. So it's very important that we ask them at the end of every 2 weeks or every more session, would you like more nutrition accountability or more solutions to that? Hey, I know we're just beginning. I'm all about creating a program that's specific to you. Some people want very specific. Are there exercises you're liking or not liking? Are we going too hard? Or would you like me to go a little bit softer? Or would you like to go harder? That's not a hard question to ask. It's hard to get into conflict and everything right there. But if you simply ask that question, what can I provide you more of? Then they're going to feel comfortable to ask. Is just say, hey, I'm always asking for my feedback because everybody's a little bit different. Last thing I want to do is train you into the ground if that's what you're not looking for. So ask the questions. It's very easy and non-confrontational. So again, once you do that, they know that you're committed, that you're better than 95% of other trainers out there when you can do this. And another thing, and this is just how do we retain, how do we get more clients? So once you get them results, that's when you ask for heart-to-heart referrals. And you can follow the scripts. If people miss appointments, this is very important to our job in these sessions right there. They will lose accountability. They'll lose consistency. If you're going to get results with clients, it's about them being committed to it. I know we can't make them do it right there, but if somebody misses that appointment, you must call them right during that appointment. Hey, I don't know what happened, Mrs. Jones, especially if they no-showed, but hey, I still have you on for Thursday at this time. Even if that's why I always think it's so important to schedule out over 2 weeks out. Is hey, I still have you on just in case they do miss one. Get them back on the books or accountability is lost. Do it during that session because don't wait 2 hours later when you're busy. You're not training during that time. Make that phone call right away. Call 5 past clients. We allow the trainers to keep their past clients in their binder as long as they're calling them. So this file right here would go into past clients right there in the back of the binder. And as long as they're calling 12-1, 12-2, 12-3, 12-4, A is looking ready to get going, and it's there. If you know you didn't connect with that person or anything like that, then it's best to pass it along to the salespeople so they can call and follow up right there. So call past 5-1. Bring friends, workouts, just like we say in the beginning. It's about a community. It's about bringing their friends to the workouts. It's about creating a support system right there. When they boost that post on Facebook or you post their results, their friends always support them. You can write private little emails and ask them to come along the way. You use the $100 gift cards. Those have worked so well for us for so many years. You got to get those gift cards printed for your clients to give to their friends. They just need to say new clients only. You have to copy the exact ones that we use. Group SMS is a good retention tool that's just really good to text all your clients. Hey, you eating well? Hey, this is what I did today. Anything that just makes it easy. If you're out sick, at least they know right there. Hey, still come in and get to the gym day, get your workout. Our workout with so-and-so will be ready for you. But hey, this is that. Facebook props, ask them to sign the HIPAA. You want to be on Facebook with these people. Everybody's there. You want to provoke little pump-ups. Hey, great job. Hey, pictures, great. Anything that you do, because then friends will comment. You can do little videos that help. So that's, again, system to retain. Read these things through. These are all in the MedFit Master binder. The numbers here are above the exit process. Now this is defining that exit process. Yours may be a little different because of maybe operating 2 levels, you may be doing this, but this explains the whole process that we just went through A to Z, that even during the sign up, you're telling them on EFT, you're explaining the commitment, what they have to do to journal, you're explaining the 30-day cancellation notice, you're explaining the money back guarantee, you are tracking the sessions, just like we talked. Here's the retention system, the 5 sessions are left. If that 30-day written notice of the cancellation, our contact logs have to have that on there. We can change them from 3 times a week to once a week. We highlight when they're struggling, so we call them and have extra accountability. If the front desk is, the client's trying to cancel right there, front desk, it tries to schedule the exit interview or books it in the mind body right there with the fitness director where they do. You have to document using that form. Manager gets the messages, the manager calls and does those follow-up calls. Don't get to go unless they go in right there. And we mark that changes, and they make any changes into our email and our operating system based on the results after the manager has done his job with it. So that's essentially the whole termination process. But as you can see, much like the sales process, our goal in the intake is handle objections before they occur. Our goal is to do everything to retain people before they put in that termination process. And once they do put in that termination, that we save half of them. But we got to get to the root cause. Are they leaving because they weren't getting results? Are they leaving because it was poor customer service and we dropped the ball? Then we have to say, I'm sorry, we messed up. How do I make it up to you? The trainer was late. Hey, Mrs. Jones, I apologize. Can I give you a couple of free sessions? What would it do to make it up to you? That's not how we operate here. We do make mistakes, but I always make up for it and try to make it right. I'll do my best to make sure that that doesn't happen to you again. So that's what we do when we mess up. We try to keep our clients. We owe them that. And that last step is, are we losing value? Are we still in? Here's the one value that if you read Grant Cardone's stuff, I've sent you guys all of his sales training. If you're not providing 10 times the value of what you're charging, it's not worth it. So if we're charging $200 a month for a training program 1 time a week, we better give them $1,000 worth of value. And that comes in the form of results, dietitian, medical integration, breaking barriers, support, an 8-year of counseling. So don't get me wrong, we can keep non-compliant customers as long as we do everything that we taught. I've had plenty of clients that don't lose weight, that we stay as long as we are able to keep them going in the right direction. So that is the termination process, or I should say more of the retention process, but how we go through in a system right here. It's very important that we get systematic as we start, because when you get to 6, 8 trainers, if you can't stay systematic, then you're going to lose people by the drones. Anytime we've forgot training these things or moved too fast and fell short of adhering to our systems the right way, it has consequences. But these are done to retain the people, get better results, and change lives. So now I'd like to open up to questions and see if any come through here, and I can help explain anything through here. So if you're new to this, you're going to have to type in the questions in the dialog box below. Well, I'm not seeing anything coming through. So I'm going to check here just in case I'm missing something. Anything in the chat? All right, that looks like it does it for today. I will stick on here for a couple minutes in case anybody does have anything more to add. And I appreciate your attendance today. Thank you so much. Come in.